Happiness through curiosity on TRS Clips. In a lot of cases of people my age, early 90s born, I just turned 30. I still see my friends struggling with adult acne.
Correct.
And the big hope is that when all of us turn 35 or 40, it'll kind of reduce by itself, because at least in guys, the testosterone levels will
Goes
reduce a
down.
little bit. So there will be some kind of
Change.
conjunction. I remember my acne began at around like 14.
16, 14, yeah.
It increased a lot when I started lifting weights, even
Yes.
without the whey
Testosterone
protein.
goes up.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Like
with muscle.
Yeah, once I started taking whey protein, it went up a hell of a lot more. I did a keto phase to experiment with my body, because 8 years ago I was trying to go into the details of health for the sake of YouTube. So I was like, before putting up content on the internet, I'm going to experiment with my own body. That was the worst my skin ever became. Because I didn't just do like a zero carb thing. I took it to an extreme where even the vegetables I ate, it was just leafy vegetables.
My God.
Because there's no carbohydrate. There's very little carbohydrate in that.
Yeah.
So it wrecked my system on multiple levels, but it did the job that ketogenic
lean.
diets
Yeah.
were meant for. Like I got a six-pack and everything. But my skin had never been worse. I went on Accutane after that. Came out. The Accutane phase got done. A little bit of acne started coming back, and that's when I realized, wait, there's something I'm doing wrong in my diet. Remove the whey protein. For me, plant proteins really worked.
Yes.
I switched to that.
It's easier to digest.
Yeah.
Less inflammatory.
And I also noticed that through the course of my 20s, now I don't know, this is definitely my subjective reality, but I feel so many of my friends who are dealing with adult acne, I sometimes want to tell them that, hey, why don't you try changing this about your diet? Because this is what helped me a lot.
Correct.
But then it's rude to talk to people about their pimples. Because I have had pimples and I know what it's like when someone tries giving you advice. But in so many cases, I see them drinking a lot of milk, eating a lot of junk food, specifically eating a lot of cheese.
Processed food, never.
Yeah. Eating a lot of cheese, smoking a lot. For me, again, I'm not one of those people who like preach for dietary changes and all that. But because I did a lot of yoga, I felt like my body was rejecting meat. And I ate a lot of meat. So first I ended up giving up red meat for a while. Then I just didn't feel like eating chicken after a point. So I gave it up, and I was just listening to my own body. It was probably in conjunction with my yoga-based lifestyle. I'm like pure vegetarian now. Like I even gave up eggs, and I'm from a hardcore non-vegetarian family who still eats like a lot of non-veg. And I don't look at it from a moral compass or anything. I'm just purely talking about my skin journey. And now only at age 30, after having this like very basic diet, like
Sattvic diet.
I'm
Almost.
not fully sattvic also. Like as in I have my fun, but
Yeah.
I don't smoke. I don't like drink alcohol. I'm the kind of guy you take home to your mother.
Okay, he's saying something.
But from a skincare perspective. So now my skin has calmed down, and I still have some trouble with skin. When I get stressed, I get acne now.
See? Yeah.
Like that's what I've noticed. That if my stress levels are through the roof, something will happen. So it's actually much more about handling stress, which then shows up on your face.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing my pranayama yoga regularly, I'm fine.
Everything is fine.
I'm glowing. I'm a magazine cover.
And you can take him home.
Now, whatever I said, there are two aspects to this. One, I'm showing off a little bit.
I can see that. I just totally got it.
And two, is this a nice general guideline for Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Kolkata people dealing with adult acne?
Okay,
What
so
I've given back.
What I will do is, since you gave me one long thing of what you did, I'm going to break it up.
Sure.
So it's easy for our kind of listeners to grasp from what beautifully you did. So the first thing you said is, I ended up doing keto, whatever, intermittent. So when anybody chooses a diet, you must understand the idea of diet is to heal your body, to take it a good place, not to stress your body further. Simple. So keto may, like you said, I don't know, keto might work for some people, may not work for another people. You need to realize when you start a diet, is that stressing you out? Is it causing you acne? Is your skin, maybe not everybody will break into an acne. You will get a red skin, irritated skin, chappy skin, your eczema might become more. If you have had a psoriasis, that might become more. So in Diwali, one of my from my CA's office has psoriasis, which we are treating. Came back with new lesions because he had had a lot of sweets. So it could be any of the skin issues. We are talking acne, but I'm saying any of these skin issues can exacerbate with the wrong diet. Now you sit down, start your diet, see how it feels in 1 week. Is any disruption there? If there is, then this is not diet for you. Look for another diet.
How do you figure if there's a disruption?
You may end up getting an acne. You may end up getting a chapped skin. You may suddenly see hair fall. You may see folliculitis or acne on your back. You may end up, like I said, exacerbating eczema, psoriasis, any of these things that you may have had and it is sitting quietly. Now you start a diet and things change, then it is this. So that's not happening. And as a woman, along with all these things, if that month your period is disrupted, then you kind of know, oh, there is something which led to it because there's nothing else I'm doing but starting this new diet. It only means it's stressing your body. You don't need anything which is stressing your body. Shift to another diet, shift to another diet, shift to it. You will find your peace in 2-3 diet forms that you have followed. So that's I eat red meat. I'm very happy. Like I said, I eat rice. I'm very happy. My body knows that. If I stop all that with the kind of work I have and the concentration that I have to do and high energy I have to have even at 6 o'clock, patient comes, I can't say, you know what, I'm tired. I don't have that full energy. I need my sustained release carb all the day. So for me, it works. So you need to find out what works for you in your given lifestyle, need, goal, and for your body. So that is your diet part. The next you said, I gave up milk. And I see you repeating that many times through our conversation. Very important 3 things that I in general tell them to give up. One is dairy and dairy products except curd, which to me is a broken dairy. There is good bacteria in it. So there is a lot of good things in that curd. So I always tell them eat curd in the afternoon because one of my Ayurveda friends said, apparently curd is difficult to digest. So I tell them not to have it at night and you have it in the afternoon. So curd is allowed. And I have allowed people to have very, very buttermilk, which is already butter removed, not just diluted curd. Yeah. So that is something. And ghee are the 3 dairy that I allow you to have. Then I tell them to cut off all processed food. Like you said, cheese. Cheese is processed. Chips, packet, whatever comes in the packet, whatever is processed, do not have. There'll be a lot of hidden things which I also won't understand. You also won't understand. So please don't have it. The other one that which includes the proteins from the packet that you have. So these are all processed food. I tell them to avoid. In fact, these are the only 2 things I blanket avoid everyone. I tell them anything processed, packet, what you have to buy from outside, stop dairy. And then I move them to some other milk. Now, I want to also tell the audience and people who are listening to this to say that when I say stop dairy, I've seen people go and have glass full of almond milk. Not happening again. There is so many almonds required to squeeze that glass full of almond milk. You're
amongst
overloading.
Other processed things.
Correct. So when you skip to another milk, when I say no milk, you're looking for an alternate, right? What is your alternate then? Do you have an alternate? What do you do?
I primarily have black coffee now, or green tea.
But if you were to have
oat
milk, very good choice. So to me, again, a vegetarian source of milk is a very good choice to have, which is oat milk is the most least in its inflammatory quality. Other than any nut milk, which will be heavy in fat, right? Why would you want to have that? Most of you who are on a diet is also trying to reduce weight. So you're having something as rich in fat. So no. The third thing that you said is avoiding foods. You said I avoided red meat. Most of us may not avoid the same food and get the benefit.
Yeah.
An easy thing to understand what might help you is when you eat something, you see what makes you bloated, what makes you uncomfortable, burpy, not happy in your system. So you know gut is not handling it. Gut is going to throw it out on the skin in the end. It's all connected.
Gut is going to throw it out on the skin in the end. Can we just pause this thing and just talk about like this in a few sentences? Yeah. We actually had a gut expert on the show who said that there's too many nerves connected to your gut, which is why they relate IBS to how your mind feels.
Yeah.
But I also want to know specifically, why is the gut related to pimples? Is it because your gut gets inflamed because your body is not able to digest certain things?
Yeah.
That excess heat in your body shows up on your face?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. A layman way of saying inflammation is heat. That's it.
What is inflammation actually, medically speaking?
Medically, inflammation is anything that disrupts your body. For example, to put it simply, let's say pollution, wrong food causes inflammation and free radical damage.
What is free radical damage?
Free radical damage is rogue oxygen species, which means to say, if you breathe, there is a chemical reaction in the body. You eat to digest, there are multiple chemical reactions. While that is happening, there is a lot of enzymes involved, everything involved, right? While that is happening, on the side, while things are utilized, free radicals are released.
Like pollutants of the food? Or
Not really. It's just a radical less of it's just a molecule less of an ion. So it's hyperactive.
okay.
And it can destruct things. Now, generally, body has its own free radical quenchers, which we call antioxidants. You can quench it and body goes on. But when the free radical becomes excess, that is when body can't handle. And today we have supplements with free radicals, which does quite a lot of damage control.
As in supplements to counter free radical
Correct.
damage?
Correct.
Okay.
Like the most infamous glutathione, for example, is one of the free radical damage controllers. And that then leads to inflammation. And inflammation is your body calling all its defense system to say, come and fight. So that is inflammation. But when it is simply calling everyone to fight, inflammation is counterproductive then, right? So that is what happens. That is inflammation. Inflammation, when it happens, is good for a reason. At a certain extent, in a certain direction, that is saving your body of anything that is aggressors, internal or external. But you keep irritating it, the fellows keep coming, then there is so much inflammation there, which itself becomes counterproductive to you. So that is inflammation.
Okay. Originally, we were talking about your review of my 20s, that whole timeline. And we'll go back to that. But I want to ask you something that I've thought about, and correct me as a doctor. Okay. In my eyes, what I have figured about, say that one stray pimple you get once in a while, which everyone deals with. Okay. Or if you're dealing with adult acne and your whole face is covered in acne. Any pimple is your body trying to tell you, hey, this could be something that's wrong. It's like your body's compass to your mind. It shows up on your face. You're seeing your face every day. It's your body saying something's going wrong on the inside. And if you just accept that and understand that, and then try reverse engineering it. Correct. Sorry for bringing engineering. Into this. But if you try reverse engineering, then what did I do in the last week? Did I smoke? Did I drink? Did I eat something that I don't usually eat in excess?
Yeah.
That's what showed up on my face. Because this is literally what I did in my 20s, that I had a little book.
I would just wanted to say, maintain a food diary or maintain an activity diary. So you will know.
Like, I think the thing that solved my acne in the long term was just dietary changes.
Yeah.
I mean, the Accutane solved it for that one phase. But
it's just, it's like a crocin.
And I want to talk about Accutane later a lot.
We'll do.
I have friends who are taking Accutane perpetually and all that.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's a whole other topic because it's also one of the most effective ways to fully like make your acne sleep.
I'll tell you how.
We'll get there because it's a very it's one of my big pre-planned questions for this podcast and we have a long way to go. But I think it's important to talk about this basics of acne thing. So we'll go back to the timeline. You were talking about how
food we solved.
Yeah.
And we solved your aggressors such as smoking, drinking, We said no, it's the stress that is important, whatever stresses you.
Sure.
If smoking is stressing you out, if drinking is stressing you out, lack of sleep can also cause acne. Anything that stresses you can throw out. Like you rightly said, it's the compass. Skin, hair, and nail are literally a diagnostic tool for what's happening inside the body. Very, very easy to find out just looking at this, what's happening inside. So therefore, acne is one of those things, like you rightly said. Okay, go back to the timeline. I forgot what we did and what you want me to now go.
I was, for me...
We finished what?
We were talking about, for me, like when I left meat. So I'll tell you what happened.
Food we saw.
When I specifically left red meat, there was a massive drop in how much acne I had. And for a while, my white meat didn't affect it. And I didn't leave non-veg overnight. I left it gradually. I went into pescatarianism, which is only eating seafood. That also was a significant improvement for me. And this is not me saying, hey, turn vegetarian and all that. I'm not one of those people. I dislike those people. But because food is so personal, there's so much emotion attached with food. I get everyone's moral angles and all that, but food is a very personal thing. You can't force your ideas onto someone else who's not ready to change. This is what worked for me. and again, I'm approaching it from the perspective of skincare.
Mm.
So the seafood thing, it actually was great for my skin.
Sure. It's got lovely omegas 3-6, which are also antioxidants, like I said,
Yeah.
which is also anti-inflammatory. So fish not only is a lean meat and does not give you things bad, but it gives you things good. So it helps you in multiple ways.
Also, from an aesthetics perspective,
Mm.
I was very concerned that if I'm
Mm.
leaving non-veg, where am I going to get my protein?
Mm.
And when you've eaten so much non-veg in your life, your body takes time to switch to a vegetarian diet for protein. Which is why if anyone's even thinking of leaving non-veg, I always say leave it gradually.
Mm.
Because those cravings actually mean something. If you're craving chicken, eat it a little bit in that phase of leaving.
Yeah.
My point is, we're talking about seafood. Yeah, but I'll tell you, in this whole journey, the one thing I figured out and out, my body started reacting very badly to eating egg yolks. And I've eaten eggs all my life.
Yeah. Mm.
So now I didn't know whether this is because, as they say, that modern day eggs
Are not eggs.
yeah, that they fill the, I mean, they pump the chicken with
lots of hormones.
Yeah, in order to lay more eggs.
Likewise, the milk.
Yeah.
How long does a normal cow, if you go to the village and ask them, how long after the birth of a baby can it give milk? It doesn't perpetually give milk, right? Here, your cow is perpetually giving you milk.
What I find hurtful is that in my childhood, I ate so many eggs, I drank so much milk, and nothing would happen. Even as a teenager, for a long time, I had like egg yolks and milk, and only in adulthood. So it's one of two things. It's either that the quality of milk and eggs has reduced in Indian cities, or my body as it aged was just rejecting these two food items. But this was again the significant jump for me. Would you like to say anything about this?
My only 2 bits to this is it's not just that things are going bad from the outside, like bad eggs and bad milk. It's also as a child, you're expending so much energy. So these things you know how to digest will happen and your body needs it. And then as you grow older, like I said, what you don't need will only turn against you. So it's just causing more inflammation. You don't need it. You're firstly not spending so much energy in the putting it out. So there's multiple factors usually that involve.
It's not as simple as
bad egg. Okay, let me start now getting from the gaon egg and I will start having 5 egg. It may still not work.
Got it. As a doctor, would you say that as you age, your body accepts and rejects different foods?
Yeah, and it needs less food. So if you go back to our scriptures, there is those various phases of life, right? In that various phases of life, that if I'm right, there's vanaprastha in the end or something like that. They end up going also to the forest. Then they start eating less and less and less also, because body needs less. Your expansion of energy, expending energy is lesser. So you need less. So your own body changes over time. And sometimes you say, oh, this was fine for me. Like you said, after some time, my egg yolk didn't work for me. So as you keep changing your diet and your lifestyle, some fellow is working, like a carb is working with a protein to cut this, cut that, and go ahead. An apple is not just a vitamin A, right? There are so many things that we know and we don't know in that. So one cuts the other and life goes on. But once you take away one, just this one may not work for you. That is when you would say, oh, this was fine before. Now why is it not working? That could be. Your body can grow and say, now I don't like it anymore. So you can develop an allergy any point of your life. Likewise, you can develop a rejection to food at any point, a particular food at any point in your life. You just, like you said, listen to your body. Close your eyes, listen to your body. That's all is what you need to do. You don't even need a doctor.
Yeah. Also considering the fact that there's so much pollution nowadays, at least I can speak for Mumbai and Delhi, that definitely plays a role in your skin's health.
Yes and no, it does. But honestly, Ranveer, how many of us are running in the pollution? You're sitting in an AC room, you're sitting in an AC car, you're going to an AC restaurant. So it's all, I wouldn't say AC means no pollution. There are still things here which are not absolutely clean. We're not air filtering it and purifying it. But dust and pollution and all this, I would still relate it more to the allergies, to the eczemas that are so much on the high rise now. Acne, I would still relate it to stress and food and hormones and hereditary. I wouldn't say personally pollution is such a big thing, a hand in playing towards.
So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to TRS Clips for more.